how many devices we see around the panels, how far they're staying from the panel, how long they're staying next to the panel, and it helps us ensuring that when we activate, we are only going to activate the best performing panels, and we ensure that we reach the target audience with the utmost precision. And finally, when you mix all that together, so the POI database, the mobility data, all the audiences, and the data metrics, you end up with what we call the DOH scoring in our platform. So it's a way for us to be able to plan your campaign, choose your audiences, select only the best performing panels, and activate that, ensuring you're going to optimize every KPI of your campaign. I'm going to show you a recording of how it's done on the platform. Or if you can look. Yeah, okay. So here I'm on the platform, so I'm going to select an area, let's say New York City. So I'm just showing that we have several layers of several subdivisions. So here I'm in New York, and you can see on the left pane that we have the different audiences that we can choose from. We have a lot of different behavioral audiences. So here I'm just going to select fast food lovers for this example. And the map is going to get colors depending on the affinity of the area with the audience that you just chose. And you also have information about the reach at the top. So you can see that we see around 8 million device IDs in New York City, and what's in your target, depending on your audience, is currently 1 million device IDs. So here I'm going to combine different audiences. So let's say I want to target people that are often seen in fast foods, but I want to target especially people that are in high affinity with, let's say, McDonald's or Wendy's or Subway. I can do that as well. And the reach is also going to adapt to the current segmentation that I'm creating. You see the colors are adapting as well. And finally, we have also the media receptivity piece if you want to target areas that are especially in high affinity with your channel. And here I'm just showing that we can refine the areas that we want to activate by selecting only the best performing areas. And just after, I'm going to show you the DOH layer that we add on top of that to really plan and optimize our DOH campaigns.
So in fact, that goes back to what we were talking about. If you wanted to do competitive conquesting, you might choose an area where you're weak. If on the other hand you want to drive loyalty, you would choose an area where there's a higher density. Yes?
Go ahead. So are your options built in, or are they customized based on needs? So for instance, right now you've chosen fast food, but out of those that you've selected, I want to know chicken.
Yeah, we can build those audiences. We have like thousands of audiences already built in, but we can build it very easily because we have access to thousands of brands. So if we want to have a specific audience around chicken, I don't know, we can have an audience built targeting chicken restaurants, for example.
So another question.
Yeah.
So you're able to identify people who are locals there. Are you able to do the reverse? Are you able to understand travelers, tourists in the region?
Yeah, because we see people moving here, so we have what we call internally home locations, so we can differentiate from people that are living in the area and people that are just passing by in the area because the signal will be weaker.
Are you able to differentiate like the employee based on the number of times?
Yeah, we can do that because we also, when we compute all the metrics about our POIs, we also compute what we call a dwell time. So we can identify people that are staying for long hours inside the store and people that are often seen, for example, every day of the week. So we can discard that and do not count them as visitors to the POI because, of course, they're employees here.
So it also goes back to what we were talking about. We look to the agency to provide us with the sort of metrics to say, so obviously if somebody's 8 hours there, the device is there, it's probably an employee. We did that with airport travel where we would extract the people that we know would be working there just based on the signal duration. And then it's the same thing when I was talking about a high-end appliance store, they will say the average shopping time is 45 minutes. So that's when we measure the attribution. So it's not just, so if you're walking in front of the store, we won't count that.
The more I refine the area, and I see it'll show me my reach.
Yeah, it's going to show you your reach at the top because the more you refine the areas, of course, the reach is going to go down. But if you want to, for example, I'm going to show you how we add the DOH layer on top of that. So if you want to select only the best performing panels, it's going to be only in certain areas, so you're going to have a lower reach, but it's going to correspond more and more to your audience.
More qualified.
Yeah, exactly. For example, here I'm going to add the DOH layer. So you'll see that right now. So I'm going to select my inventory, so we have all kind of inventory for DOH. But in this example, I'm just going to take the panels that are inside malls, and they're going to be shown on the map. Then what I'm going to do is enable the scoring. So the scoring of each panel will be a combination between the score of the area, depending on your audience, plus the score of the panel, which is taking into account the number of people that we see around the panels, how long they're staying, how far they're staying from the panel. And finally, you can refine the areas that you want to only take into account the best performing panels for your campaign. You can see the scoring on the left, and also the historical data that we have on those panels to give you insights about how performing will be your campaign. Of course, you can also refine the areas if you want to really, let's say, target only the very best performing panels. So you're going to filter out the panels this way now.
So basically, this is like a dashboard that we use, but is it something that we can use inside, like, I'm sure here there's a lot of media people, that they can use within their departments, and by talking to the creative team or the account execs, they can qualify exactly what they're looking for, depending on the industry they're at.
Yeah, and most of what we do, Maurice, is through managed service, because a lot of it is when it's small to medium-sized agencies, they're thinking, okay, right now I want to spend more time with the client and on strategy, so we do a managed service. Obviously, the large holdcos, because they have their data division and all these different divisions, they just want to extract certain measurements, and we can provide you with that if you're able to work with us through PMPs, programmatically, and then we can provide you, but we can't provide you as much depth of information simply because you're accessing, but you're not accessing the whole suite of services. But from a managed service, yes, and then from a programmatic point of view, it's all about some data integration that we can do.
And finally, since we're in Montreal, I just wanted to show you a screenshot of Montreal as well, because we do not only have data in the US, we have data in a lot of other countries. And here's an example, the same example with Montreal. So you have the same capabilities in other countries. Thank you. Give you
Back to Vida?
Yeah.
But so typically how we work too, just so you know, when we're working with a new client, first thing they'll send us is their list of POIs, lat longs, or whatever information. We then map those out. So what that gives you is really the density of the map. And then once that's mapped out, now we can start measuring who comes within those fields and out of those fields. So you may ask us, so for example, I want to use the heavy, yep, 1 minute, okay. Heavy industry, we would map out construction sites across, wherever you need to be. And then from there, give you the information. So again, look, full service, audience driven, omni-channel, performance powered, privacy protected, all of that. And then, as I was just mentioning, Maurice, we offer a managed service, so then you get the Locala optimization, the creative formats, the team expertise. Creative is included in media, so we don't charge you extra for that. And then from programmatic, you can get the data, media, the measure and attribution. Here's some of the DSPs that we use, and there's always more coming on board. Oh, and here's a nice thing. Because it's from France, and they're very conscious, we plant trees. So we're carbon neutral, and every year we are make sure, I think we planted 37,000 trees in the Central Valley, and that's it. Now, what I want to offer you guys is the following, because we've done this with TCAN, as you know. Pre-RFP, we can take you through and you can come to us and say, what would be the audience? How would be the reach? What can we do? So pre-RFP, don't wait just for the RFP. Tap us out for, I'd like some information, some data some sense of what we can work with you to help you for the presentation, for the pitch, so to